Hey y'all, welcome back and happy New Year's. Today we are talking all about organizing and what your essential home entertaining items should be for 2021. I'm starting to clean out, as you can see behind me, cabinets and all the things, and I am starting with this front closet that's like right behind our entry that I turned into like overflow kitchen storage slash hostessing supplies. And we're cleaning it out, and I decided I'm going to show you guys what I'm keeping and what I'm getting rid of. So here we go. First up, I am getting rid of all of these clear vases I have. They're cheap anyways, they're dollar store vases, but I'm gonna get rid of all of those. Getting rid of this massive wooden tray, a pink pitcher, some random vases. Let's go over here. Getting rid of all of these little crock pots. Oh, the light's off, but you can see there's more crock pots up there. We've got another clear cake stand. Plus I've got all of these cake stands. I'm actually gonna keep all of these. I'm getting rid of a bunch of the stuff that's up in these cabinets here. All right, so here's a prime example of something. Football season lasts 4 months out of the year. I don't need a chip and dip tray shaped like a football for the limited amount of time that we spend watching football in a year. And also other platters will do the exact same thing. So simplicity is key here going into 2021. I'm not going to be one of those people to tell you to like buy specialty items for every single thing. And we are all about simplicity here. We are all about special occasions. We are all about the people that make it special, not the physical items. This football tray, if you love it, if you have football parties regularly, you can find it at a local Jacksonville Goodwill soon, I am sure, but it is not staying in my home. All right, before we dive into today's video, if you have not already subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button above so you don't miss any video that we put out. All right, as you can see, I just did a major clean out of my entertaining closet. So we have this closet in our house. It's a small little coat closet that I have converted to my entertaining closet. And it has all of the items that we use strictly for entertaining. It's right in our kitchen, but it's where I keep platters and serving utensils and vases and napkins and those types of items. And once a year, but right after Christmas, I will go through the closets, all of the closets in our house, all of the cabinets. And it's sort of this unspoken rule I have that before I put Christmas away and items that we received for Christmas, I want to purge the items that we aren't using anymore. And that's really to prevent things from just accumulating. We live in a pretty small house, and storage can be limited when you live in a small home. And so we want to make the most of that and be sure that we aren't holding on to items that we could donate or give to someone who could put those items to better use. So I do that every year anyways. And this year I did a major deep dive on the entertaining closet and really evaluated what was there. So I've always had a more minimalistic approach to entertaining, and I am a huge believer that the focus should be on the people and not on how pretty it looks or how unique it is or anything like that. And yes, we still want parties to be pretty. I'm not discounting that at all, but I think it's more important that we're forming these meaningful relationships and fostering our relationships than focusing on what goes down the center of our table. And I don't love buying things for the sake of buying things. And so that's sort of always been my personal philosophy, but I've noticed that I had started to accumulate items I wasn't using. I started to notice that I was accumulating items that I really wasn't using, and some of them weren't specialty items, some of them were, but I wanted to do a deep dive and really recognize what pieces I needed to keep. And I did this as well as a reminder to myself of like, It's not about the stuff, it's about the people. So all that being said, does that mean I'm never gonna buy something new for entertaining, or I'm never gonna buy a new centerpiece or something like that? Absolutely not. But I think it's important to just sort of take account of these things. What I wanted to do today was share sort of the processes that I go through when I am cleaning out my entertaining closet, and then also the process I go through when I'm considering buying new pieces. And then I wanted to share my 10 must-have items for entertaining at home. And even if you just have friends over for dinner from time to time, even if you never host the holidays, these are items that I think everyone should have in their closet to pull out to use whenever they need them. So I'm going to share those items in a minute, but first I want to start with the process I use when cleaning out any closet, really, but specifically today talking about the entertaining closet. So I really ask myself 4 questions essentially. And the first one being, when is the last time I used this item? If I can't remember the last time I used it, it needs to go into the pile to be considered to donate. So that's the first thing. When was the last time I used this item? Second, is this a specialty item that only has one purpose and it can't be used for anything else? So for an example, I'm going to say a deviled egg tray. Deviled egg tray really only serves the purpose of holding deviled eggs. You cannot use it for anything else but to hold deviled eggs. Maybe you make deviled eggs all the time and you have a need for a specific plate for your deviled eggs. Great. I never make them. I love them, but I never make them. Having a deviled egg tray would just be taking up space in my closet. Same goes for a punch bowl, things like that. So does this item only have a singular purpose that can only be used once a year or less? So that's the second thing I ask myself. If it does have only a singular purpose and I never really use it, it goes in the donate pile because there's always an alternative option available to you. Third question I ask myself is, are there 3 occasions that I could see myself using this item, whatever that item might be? So are there 3 occasions throughout the next 6 to 12 months that I would use this, whether that be a holiday, a birthday, dinner with friends, date night at home, whatever it might be? Are there at least 3 occasions where I can use this item? If the answer is no, get rid of it automatically. Fourth thing I ask is, do I own something else that could perform this same function? So I'm going to use an example here. I actually saw someone share this on Instagram the other day, and it was the perfect example of this. It was like a Coca-Cola branded hot dog cooker and bun warmer. Great. Really cute for a party if you're having a backyard barbecue or something like that. But how frequently do you cook hot dogs? Do you have something else that can perform that same function? Can you think of 3 occasions throughout the year that you would use it? Do you have the space to store it also? But that's a perfect example. I like hot dogs. I don't have anything against hot dogs, but I can also keep hot dogs warm in a chafer. I can keep hot dogs warm in a slow cooker. I can keep hot dogs warm on the grill. I have a number of other things that could perform that same function, and I wouldn't A, have to buy a new item, B, store that item. So that's an example there, is do I own another piece that could serve the same function? So the exclusion to all of this is if the specialty item is something that you consistently use every year and no other item can perform that same function. So for us, we own oyster knives and oyster towels. Those are specialty items, obviously. But we consistently have oyster roast 1 to 2 times a year, and there's nothing else that can perform that same function. There is nothing else that I can use to open an oyster with. There is nothing else that I'm going to use to hold that oyster in my hand to keep my hand protected from the seam of the oyster and also, the knife I'm stabbing it with. But that's an example. So if you have a specialty item that you do use every year without fail. You have the space to store it, and there's nothing else that can perform that same function. Keep those specialty items. But now let's talk about if you are buying new items. If you're at the store and you see something that's really cute and you're like, man, I love this. Should I buy it? Should I not? I go through a very similar process when I am looking at these items. I ask myself very similar questions. 1, are there at least 3 occasions that I could see myself using this piece? The answer is yes. Check that box. Second question, do I own anything similar that would perform the same function? Maybe you're looking at a platter. Maybe you're looking at a cheese board. Do you own something else already that would perform the same function of this item? Third, does this fill a gap that I have? Like, have I had a need for something similar to this and been without it? Like, could this make my life easier in some way? That's another question I ask. And then ultimately, sometimes it's just you want something new, and that's fine. And you can just buy something new. But when I do that, I always come home and try to eliminate something of a similar function. And that's really from just a storage perspective and not accumulating a lot of stuff, because I don't need it all. And I always have to remind myself, and I remind people as well, that there are ways to make your space holiday specific, theme specific, without buying serving pieces or decor pieces or things like that are very specific to one occasion that you cannot use again. So that's a little bit like when I'm going through the buying process. So now I want to share with you guys the 10 pieces that I think everyone should have for entertaining, whether you simply have friends over for dinner or you host big family meals and holidays and things like that. I think these are the 10 essentials that everyone should have. All right, so I'm gonna just jump right into the essentials as the way they are. I'm looking at them. There's no specific order to their importance, but I think that each of these items are something that you should own. First item, really simple, actual cloth dinner napkins. I keep a basic white set. I think if you just have white cloth dinner napkins and that's all you own, that's great. These match our decor. I mean, I like real napkins, so I have a couple of sets, but if you don't use them with a whole lot of frequency, I think white dinner napkins are an essential. Everyone should own them. So that's the first item. The second item here is a silverware caddy. We do a lot of buffet service style, even when it's just our friends for backyard barbecue. We do it at the holidays, we'll do buffet style. And so this is great to put silverware in, but I have also used it to put napkins in or other little miscellaneous items. So it has a multi-use to me, but it is a great item. It's essential. I use this all the time. So a silverware caddy to me is a must-have item for everyone. Third item, basic white vases. So it works for any occasion, works with any color scheme, any theme, anything like that. It's got some texture on it, so that's nice, just to break up your table a little bit. But yeah, just a basic white vase. You should always have a vase because flowers are one of the simplest ways to bring in color to your table without having to buy like something theme specific. And I think fresh flowers are always really nice for any party. So a vase is a must-have item as well. Big cake stand. So I love a bigger one because you can accommodate for any size cake that you would have. This is, again, if you were only gonna buy one, I would buy a larger one. This one is actually from someone called Nora Fleming is the brand. What I love about this is you see this little attachment I have here. This comes on and off and is interchangeable, this little accessory. I don't know what you call it, attachment. So it just pops right in. So what's wonderful is you have this neutral base that if you wanna make it holiday specific, theme specific, occasion specific, you just add a little accessory, these are easy to store, they're less expensive, you're gonna use them more frequently. So this is a great option, and a large cake stand. Like I said, it will fit any size cake, but another perk about it is you can use it for other things as well. Next one is a large bowl to serve things like salad, or they're great for mashed potatoes. This bowl specifically, I have done condiments in this for burgers or chili or things like that. We've done appetizers in this. So a big bowl, especially a shallow one like this pasta bowl, does have a lot of function besides just salad, but you do need some kind of big bowl for serving items like mashed potatoes, like pasta salad, like a regular salad, things like that. So a big bowl is an essential. Serving utensils. They do not have to be expensive. They do not have to be fancy. I love these. I picked them up on Amazon. I will link them in the description of this video. That was a set of 4 for I think like 14 bucks. So not expensive, but stainless steel, nice serving utensils. You will use serving utensils more than you think, more than just at holidays, more than if you have a group of people over for dinner. You will probably use them during the week for your own meals as well. So a good set of serving utensils is a must. I don't even know what number I'm on, but cheese knives. So I have a cheese knife set. You don't have to have a whole set. Having cheese knives of some kind is another thing I could not live without. I do cheese boards pretty frequently. I think they're a pretty essential party app that everyone should know how to make a cheese board, but cheese knives are an essential for me. The reason why you might consider these to be a specialty item, but there really is nothing else that serves the purpose like a cheese knife does, especially if you are going to be serving things like brie or goat cheese or something like that. Nothing can replace your cheese knives. So that's why they are an essential in my book. Next, a pitcher. This is just a really basic carafe, clear glass. I think everyone needs to have a pitcher, whether you are mixing signature cocktails or just putting water out on the table when people come over, or putting water at your bar. I think a pitcher of some kind, can't live without it, can use it for 100 different things. Next up, number 9, a big wooden cheese board. So again, just like everything else, multifunctional. Even if you do not do a cheese board on it or a charcuterie board on it, you can put condiments on here. You can do other appetizers on here. You can put a cake on here. You can really use it for just about anything. And it's wooden. You could carve your meat on it if you wanted to. But having a cheese board, and again, if you're only gonna buy one, I have a few, as you can see behind me there. So I have some more in this cabinet back here. If you are only going to buy one, I suggest buying one that's a little bit on the bigger side, because then it does become that much more multifunctional for you, because you could do things like put sandwiches or condiments or crackers or whatever it might be on the board. So good size cheese board, and it doesn't have to be round. This is just the one that I grabbed. Last thing you need is a big platter. You have to have a big platter. Again, it's good for more than just putting turkey on at the holidays. You can do condiments on here, cakes on here, sides, burger, whatever you can imagine can go on a big platter. So having a larger platter is really important. I also think too, really quick sidebar, when we're talking about size, oftentimes people will think of platters as single use. Like you can only have one item at a time on a platter. Not the case at all. On this platter, for example, it could be half chicken, half rice. You can put whatever you want on it, and you can have multiple items on one platter, which is why I like larger items as well, because it gives you that functionality. And then you only have to wash one dish. But I love less dishes. Anyways, I love this one. This one was a wedding gift for us, which is why it has our monogram on it. But it is from Cotton Colors, which actually I think they took this line out, and it's now the Happy Everything line. But what's great, similar to the cake stand, this attachment at the top comes off. It's Velcro. So you can now have a platter. You only have to store one platter, but by changing out this attachment, you can make it fit for whatever it is. You can have a turkey attachment. You could have a Christmas tree. You could have a menorah. You could have, I don't know, a piñata. You can have whatever attachment it is that they make. Then these attachments are a lot easier to store. So it makes this item then multifunctional for any holiday, which you all know I'm all about. So that's it. Those are my top 10 entertaining essentials that when you are going through your cabinets, your closet, whatever it might be, and you're cleaning out, keep these items. Keep at least one of these items because it will get used. Even if you don't use it every weekend, it will get used. So those are the essentials. That's what I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining us. Before we head out, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed, and we will see you next week with even more good stuff. We'll see you guys later.